Hello and welcome back to another session of serde-yaml. It's Byron speaking. And in the previous session, we have just added a few unit tests to kind of verify our block handling so far is correct. By the way, we do not do anything with indentation yet. We are still in a mode where indentation is not our concern at all. We are in the root of our document. This is where the testing is happening. At some point, it should be as simple as just adding a flag that says, well, indent stuff, yeah. For us, that's really it. So I don't really mind that at all, but I would like to keep it very well, keep these orthogonal problems well separated from each other. And the next problem I would like to tackle is, or to test for, is the flow sequence. Flow sequence is the one we test. We test here in both flow and block, empty sequence, flow, block. Maybe I write it here. And now we test the non-empty flow sequence. And I think we might start out, well, actually we might start out with a test set like this, just because it's nice and simple. And now it gets interesting because now we are not allowed to hide null values anymore in here. Maybe I'm testing for this already. Yeah, I'm testing. No, wait, I'm not testing for this. Not here, at least. I don't know if I have code for this already or not. Because, damn it. Damn it. I think I have to get the stack back. Because our null value, damn it. I might have to remove what I just refactored. Damn it. I used the term damn it quite a lot, but I have the feeling I made a mistake here with my previous refactoring round because I forgot why I actually added this. Because the scalar value here needs to know in which context it is in, because at least if it's null, because the null may not hide itself. Maybe it's enough though to keep a flag or something. Yeah. Maybe that shall be enough. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I have the feeling I will need the stack again. But anyway, let's try. Let's just put it there and let it test fail, right? So, the options need to be adjusted. Ops sequence style, sequence details, style shall be structure style flow. Okay. And now without anything, let's try to imagine how that would look like. So the value by default is hide, right? So in flow mode, and we don't do any line breaks yet. I would expect something like this. Then, because null will prepend its value, or scalars will prepend themselves with space, we would have that. I would expect a null because this is what we need. Just empty stuff doesn't work in flow mode. So just to prove it to you. So if we do this, this will not be null. We need to name this. This is exactly what I would. Actually, this is what I would expect here. Yeah, so this space is kind of something we don't get rid of. Something we just have. And that's how it is. Damn it. Yeah, this is where our prefixing mode actually fails because we might expect that. But anyway, this is what we will get, and I'm not willing to fix this right now. Maybe one day. Yeah, so anyway, no new lines here. I don't know why there are always spaces at the end of this. Who knows? As I copied this, that looks good. Good. So here we are now. So this is what I would expect. And probably that doesn't happen, but maybe it does happen. We'll see. Show me. Good. So here you have empty commas and the close is missing. The close is just not implemented. This is why it's totally missing. So the indentation stuff I would just leave out for now. To do write actual value, I guess that's a good idea. And here it really depends on the structure kind that we want to close. And yeah, let's use this infrastructure for now, just because we have it. And we might even keep it, because it might be faster to access this information that way instead of using the stack. So the scalar, the null would have to use the stack then, that we might have to re-add, but we will see. We will see about that. We'll see how that will work. I'm still thinking about it. Yeah, anyway. So, encode ASCII. Where's the code for open here? So this determines it by... And so this is kind of the code that we would need. Very similar code, right? So we see if we are in a sequence or in a mapping. And then we have to toss in a new line, possibly or not. And the space, oh, the space is something we could actually add here. We could always add a space so that we might make it look like that. That's something we could do. Yeah, let's do that. That way it looks better. Good. So indent to do actual indentation handling. So now here we go. That's the open string, and then now it's basically the same thing, right? And then we encode ASCII, so that's the close string. We have a kind, match it. Then we check the sequence style. If we are in block mode, so this empty document stuff we actually don't need anymore. So this will be simplified. If we are in block mode, yeah, for now I would also just go with a new line, which I think will change the way this thing looks like. And I'm not yet sure if we really want a new line. Because in block mode, if we open, what happens? Do we put a new line there? Yeah, unless we are empty. We are prefix mode, right? So this kind of puts us into suffix mode, and I'd say we just go with an empty string here. Like this. And in flow mode, this is of course a closure, and I think we would always end with a space, just to make it look good, and it would look very much like this. So that looks nice and simple. Yeah. And for the mapping, we might already do it. So here again, but we need the mapping details style. So if it's a block style, I guess we do the same thing, just nothing. And in flow style, we do this. Yeah, just because I think it's really that simple, and then we can just encode the value here. Oops. Which very much looks like that, even though, but then we want to have the close string here. It's actually not a close string. Let's call it open bytes. Open ASCII. Let's call it open ASCII, just to make sure we don't accidentally wonder why we put a string into something that expects ASCII. And here we do the same thing. Close string shall be close ASCII. Voila. And now our test will fail. The ones I think will fail are these. Oh no, wait, they will not fail because we don't change a thing there. They shouldn't fail. Sorry. For a moment I thought we put a new line here, but actually we don't, which is good. In theory that possibly works except for the... No, okay. 157. So what's the problem again? Mapping details, but no. Really? There's no field? I think it's that, huh? Because it's kind of a special structure. Yeah. Good. And now all we are missing is the null value. And guess what? Encode scalar. Alright, let's see. We might be able to work around the stack if we change the signature of this scalar thing. So, encode scalar. And I would certainly, oh, we are in the wrong. I would certainly prefer that. So visit unit. That's the only part where we will use it. Visit unit, we get our scalar value details. And the tag is null. And here we have Don't we have explicit? Oh no, here we have explicit null. We do this null handling here, makes sense. So the scalar doesn't know anything. So here we would need to know if we are within a map, within a block map. No, wait, within a flow mapping or not. So in a flow mapping, we may do this. Otherwise, we may not do this. Sorry, in a block mapping, we may do the hiding. And in a map, we may also do this. Yeah. So here's where we want to put additional logic. Basically, the only spot where we may not do this is if we are in a flow sequence. In a flow sequence, we may not hide null values. And maybe I just set a flag. What if I would set a flag in the moment we open on a sequence? What if I say, The problem with that is that this doesn't work with nested. So if I keep a state, then if we open something, we could open a sequence. It says, well, I'm in a flow sequence and you must not, and hiding is not allowed. We could say that. And in the moment we close, yeah, I have the feeling that this doesn't work with recursion. Not with recursion, but with nested structures. So if I could even modify this value, right? I could keep a previous value and set this to be show all the time. And then in the moment I close a sequence, a flow sequence, I could put back the previous value. This is what I could do. But if I do this, yeah, this needs to be stack based. I can't help myself. And unfortunately, it's only needed for this special case. Yeah, totally. But I think I want it. Hiding null, I mean, this is also part of the hide entry thing. And once again, I wonder how that would work. So hide entry. Actually, most of the time I don't care if that. I'd only care about hiding it. Yeah. So the only thing I'm interested in is I have to show it in a flow sequence. That's the thing, and I need to know if I'm in a flow sequence. This must work with nested structures. So keeping a single state that is not based on a stack is difficult. Yeah, damn it. So considering I only need to handle this special case, we could make it a very, very special stack. Yeah, I could. So let's make it a very, very special stack that says, that keeps the null scalar style, right? We want to keep it. And I just override it for a specific purpose. Okay, let's have that. That looks like what I want now. Stack vector of null scalar style. Jesus Christ. Very, very special. But hey, that allows us fast access to the data that we actually want. So that's a vec with capacity. Again, reasoning behind this. Let's have one allocation and just be good for the standard case. We need, it's very likely that we will have one allocation anyway, so we can make it big enough to work for us. It's just a small structure that we keep there, so yeah, just a few bytes here on the heap. That's how that is. So in the moment we open, and we are, the only thing we are interested in is the sequence. And the thing is that, if we are, I think here, if we are in flow mode, right? If we open in flow mode, then we put something onto the stack. Show. Self stack push this. And if we are closing this, we pop it again. So kind sequence in flow mode, we pop it. That should work, right? Provided we do not change the mode in the middle, which we do not. Expect push and pop must match. This is what we expect here. It's just my assertion, basically. And now we do it like this, and that's return value. Awesome. So now we have this kind of information. And here what we do is, well, we say self stack last, or this one. Right? Usually I have to look this thing up, but I'm quite confident that this allows us to set a default if there is nothing in there. So this is there or? Oh, it's an optional T. There was one that allows us to just unwrap or, exactly. Unwrap or just gives us the type. Unwrap or. And this is the type we want to have. And now we have exactly what we want to determine this, even though that will be forcibly show if we are in flow mode. And if we are not in flow mode, then oh, damn it. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Do we need a stack for this? So let's just say if yeah, I think it's kind of, it doesn't need to be a stack, huh? If we do it like that, then a single variable will just do. Null style. I think so. Actually, I should look at this. Because it's kind of always the same. So either we are, so if we, no, wait a second. If we are, no, the problem is if we have nesting going on, if we have a list, for instance, then the list can be in block mode and nulls can be hidden again. Sorry, if we have a dictionary in block mode, because we can differentiate between these, right? Right now we couldn't. Or we can have different options for these. So we can force lists into, or sequences into block mode or into flow mode. And dictionaries, no, wait. Oh, wow, stop. If we have something that is in flow mode, everything else needs to be in flow mode. Yeah, I think we are onto something here that I didn't really regard. So if you wanted to have a dict in here, this would forcefully be a flow mode dictionary now. And then key 2, and here null is always implied. So again, the hiding is still only required, or is still special only for the, yeah, for this thing. But we need to know if we are within a flow mode. So I think there's some sort of context that we should keep, huh? This is the context I will need. I'm getting ahead of myself, and maybe I will refactor it out later because I think it's not required. Now we have the stack back already, even though the contents of the stack is different. Yeah. I mean, this would already work for our purposes, but I think it's just it's very half-baked and kind of hacky. Yeah, we might want to have... You might want to have a flow count, flow structure nesting, which counts every structure that is in flow mode on open. So we add one, we remove one. As long as we are in a flow structure, all other structures will be flow as well. This is one thing I want. And we also need to remember if we currently are... Yeah, so this is kind of... The stack could do it, but I think we need to be more specific. So the stack... Yeah, I think the stack is not implemented correctly yet. Let's focus on this. Because this pushing also wants to happen in all the other cases. Yeah, this is what it is. So let's see. So does this build even? That should build. Oops. Oh. So we need a map here. So that returns an... Oh no, wait. Unwrap or I think I didn't save this. and it's still the difference between a borrow and an owned one. So that is going to be a borrow, and I just want to deref this. So now the types should be matching, right? Or we do it like this. Maybe that's more like it, and then we deref it here just for the purpose of matching it. Okay, cool. That works. So in theory, for our test case, this would or should already work. We have the null here, but it looks different apparently. There is a space. Why is there a space before the comma? That's unexpected. Do I add this? There is our famous element ELTSAP function method. Look at that. I think we don't want that. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I don't think this is what we want. Maybe it fails elsewhere now. Cool, it doesn't fail elsewhere. That's awesome. So we just fixed a real bug. Okay, so that works, but it only works for our case right now. If we have something that is a bit more complex, then I think we would get into trouble. So what about a structure with a field that we could, we could actually change the type here of that U32 and make it a structure with a single field that we can set or not. So that way, if we would set the structure up once and then the structure has an optional again, then we could simulate this simple case that we have here, right? That in here this should still be fine. And right now, because we push only the forbidden value onto our stack, we kind of would flatten the information, or would degenerate information. I think that's the point here that I'm trying to make. So let's have a struct, I don't know, struct S, and we have a field that is an optional U32. I don't care what it is, it should just be optional. Let's call it key, because that's really what I want to see in there. So now we put in optional nonce of a S. Voila. And yeah, that shall be fine. Now we have another value. So that should, first of all, work and be the same, right? Oh no. True, now I have to actually add this. Let's call it single field then. Because we need this stuff here. Single field, single optional field, single key, single opt key. Let's call it like that. Good. And now we have to regenerate this. We can call it make test. And this is going to be single op field in mod sir test sir and mod structs. Mod structs. This is how that works here. So this shall be mod structs single opt key. That's the one we want here. So that if we do make test, well, make test actually might do too much, huh? Because it runs cargo test. Where is it? Here. Let's change it to run tests or unit. Okay, because now we can run make test and have the same result, but get all the things that we might want here. Ooh. Oh, look at that. I might have been the one to remove that. Right? Use serd. I think this is what it wants here. Looks better. Well, does it mean that in the build file I need... I don't have to do extern crate here, do I? Because that generates the out rs, which is then, thanks to the make file, converted into fixed, right? So fixed is what I get. And here I have serd and all the generated code, obviously. So single opt key now looks like that. So it's missing an extern crate for my unit test. Here it's missing it. Extern crate serd. Now I get it. There we go. So now this should work. Use of undeclared type name. Is it not pub? It's not. There we go. Function is never used. What? 212 new? Really? Oh, maybe because it's not running it or something. Yeah. If it does ser unit, true, we get the data, but we indeed do not run most of these things. Do we get the data? We don't even get the data in unit. Anyway, I don't know why it tells me that. I don't know. In fixed. Really? I mean, we get mod structs, we get. Yeah, and here it pulls in fixed, and that's really all. And all right. True. I mean, I don't use most of these anyway, right? Yeah, I might as well at some point just hide that code just to get rid of that warnings. Yeah, anyway, that's not none of my concern. What's more important is that this totally works. This is what I wanted to achieve. But now I also want to have another value that says none. And here we want to have a single opt key. We want to have some single opt key with field being a none. So this gives us a hash map kind of thing. within within a mapping, and we are in flow mode here. And the point is that this one is in flow mode. Yeah, flow mode enforces flow mode for all nested structures. This is really what this test is supposed to be about, which means that here we would expect something like this. Probably we have a space for the key. Do we call it key? I think we do. Yeah. Key, and this is still supposed to be null. Hiding of null values is done if possible, no matter what. And here it is possible. So this is what we would expect, and we add a space at the end of these forcefully, right? This is what we have just set up in our close implementation. This is what we do just to make it look better for the looks. So this is what we would get. Voila. We could still consider not doing this with the space, because now it looks kind of, I don't know. This also doesn't look too bad, but maybe we do it like that. Anyway. So this is what we would expect once we have the key stuff going. Right now, obviously, we don't really have that anyway. So probably that will fail for quite a while. But let's see what happens. Maybe it panics because we get into code that doesn't even work. Oh, actually what I can do is I can use structs single op key here, and then I shall be allowed to use less code elsewhere, like this. Yeah, it's called key. Did you mean key? I totally did. What? It's a syntax error. Because a comma makes no sense. And he's right, he expects one of these. Constant item indent is never used. True. Not right now. Oh man, key is private. Yes. You are right. What did I do here, by the way? Nothing. Really. Good. So now this could work. Probably it doesn't, because we have to rebuild. We should do make test. Maybe I should just go ahead and say make test. Doesn't take too long, does it? Yeah. Good. So here we have a panic to do. Stir 100. Good. So that's probably the open that happens here, and that we don't handle at all. Maybe we should. So we are 38 minutes in. What have I accomplished? Yeah, I'm still doing the null stuff. Okay, let's make this work, even though this kind of brings us into map territory that I try to not do for as long as possible. So this kind of screams, before I do this and make it work, we would need some test for mapping, right? Empty. Let's have some tests here, and then we call this a session. I think I'm ready to start the next upload here. Anyway, flow mapping block. I think empty mapping block. I think for these we will, as usual, I mean, we basically have the same thing here, right? It's really very similar that I would expect. Let's see if that actually happens. our data shall be should be an empty hash map. Hash map string doesn't matter. And that's what we pass in here. And in this case, we just expect empty values. Let's see. And this, of course, will still fail, or might still fail. Oh. So what's the matter? Like so, maybe. Oh, I don't even have a hash map yet. Use std collections hash map. How far do we get? So empty mapping. Oh, look. It expects a space but doesn't get it. Probably this is... Here we have a space explicitly, and probably we don't have that for if it's empty document. Ah, look at that. So this is what we have to do here as well for the null part. It's really just that, huh? Visit map. So ops format encoding. If self is empty document, then it's this. Otherwise, it's this. And that's just that. And that's a special case here still. So open would still fail in case of non-empty maps. Cool. So the empty map part now appears to be working, but the non-empty map part will obviously not be working. And I wonder, I probably want to use my simple key version here, because with that I should be able, well, maybe I add 2 keys here, huh? Or I have another one, dual opt key. Let's do it like that. Key 1, dual opt key, and key 2, like this. Good. And now I can use this for the mapping block. Which will panic initially. Mapping block, how is this laid out? So here we have empty sequence flow block, empty mapping flow block. Then we have a sequence block. Then we shall have a mapping block. And here we shall have a mapping flow. Assert, well, panic to do this test. Yeah, just so that I don't forget it, right? And here, all we deal with is a simple, dual, use structs dual opt key. This one. And this shall be a dual opt key, and we might want to set it up. Yeah, let's just set it up. Key 1 is none. Key 2 is none for now, because we have so much awesome experience with null, and we kind of can test the height and the null hiding as well, which is kind of important to do also test null entry hiding. The cool thing is I should be able to use the same thing to output JSON compatible code, which means that I can use my YAML implementation later for outputting JSON stuff. I can basically replace the JSON implementation with the more flexible YAML implementation, even though it looks like JSON. What comes out of their end is possibly a little bit slower, huh? But yeah, I will see. Lots of work is gonna happen to Google RS once this is production ready. The cool thing is once we have serialization, we can already use this functionality. Interesting. Yeah. So what did I want to do? I wanted to just test it standalone. So what happens if I would serialize this? Null is hidden by default. So we would have, oh yeah, we are not in, that's block mode, not to forget. So we would have a, yeah, so we would have a key 1, which is empty. Then we have a new line that says key 2, which is empty, and that is it. That is it. And if you start showing the document indicator, then we have dash dash dash, new line, key 1, and key 2. Yeah, this is the special case that we have for the document start thingy, so that we can put a new line there or not, depending on what's going on. That is that. And if we put start and end, then I would expect it to look exactly like this. And if we decide not to hide the nulls, which we could do here, I would expect it oh no, wait, where's the null hiding thing? So here's the hide value. Yeah, here we want to make it to show because hide is standard, right? So now this would be null and null. And we should get this to work rather quickly, I think, because this here is just a scalar value in plain mode that we will enforce accordingly, a scalar string in plain mode that we will enforce. So actually there's some implementation needed to get there. Yeah, so I guess until we can actually test this with our stack and everything, more stuff is gonna happen. But we keep the stack. I think we need it. And we also keep track of the flow depth or something. Or yeah, flow mode count. And the only reason that we have to keep track of this is that we can have mappings in flow mode separate from the structural mode or the structural style of sequences, and vice versa. This is the only reason why this gets so complicated for us. But on the other hand, it's probably a good thing to do it that way, because that allows us to be very specific in how we want to style our output. And I don't mind that at all. I would rather have full control over my output and then have a little more complexity on the implementation side, because the client is the boss in a way. He should have all the options he can possibly think of. Kind of, as long as we can declare it statically in our options. Okay, 50 minutes in. Let's finish this up. So here we show our stuff, and I think the last one I want to do is hide entry. And then this would look quite differently. So if we hide the entire entry, nothing is here anymore. Ooh. That's going to be difficult because we need, now even in block mode, if we have only null values and we hide everything, then all of a sudden we have an empty dict. And empty dicts will always be this. Huh, look at that. Hiding all null values means we end up with an empty dict, which needs to be presented in flow mode, because otherwise it wouldn't be there, and then we might get trouble deserializing our stuff, I think. So we would need it. This means we have to keep track of more even. I think the information we carry on our stack will need to be more. This would be like structure info or something. And this keeps track of our null style and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So that makes it a whole lot more complicated. Whew. Look at this. Null entry hiding we now have tested. And this also means that if we have a different value, I think that's U32, right? Yeah, so we just put in some number there. 42, sum 42. This means that now this would be key 2 is 42. Yeah. So that is that. Yeah, but I think handling this means that we are already kind of getting our internal structures right, like the tracking, the state that we will need to do this correctly. Because that's kind of the primary cases, dealing with the flow mode correctly and so on. So let's make sure this compiles. At least. Oh, look at that. Let's actually look at it. 103. Yeah. And here again, missing. I copy pasted this. Voila. And now, yeah, I think we can say that we added a lot of tests here. So that's just the automatically created stuff. Yeah, tests, sir. Block mapping. Okay. A test for how to handle null value hiding within flow sequences led to more complex scenarios that involved mappings, which now need to be implemented, it seems. The good thing is that we should end up with somewhat final data structures for our internal state to handle the flow style as well as null value hiding correctly. And indentation is something I don't even look at, right? And I'm happy about that. Makefile adjusted to run unit tests only, as these are the only ones with a chance to work. Skip CI because we know we don't work right now. And yeah, added 2 new structures to help test simple mappings with 1 and 2 optional keys respectively. There we go. Cool, that is that. So that should conclude our session here. Lots of additional stuff is to follow very, very soon. Thanks for watching and have a great day.